Hello, welcome to How to Play Dictation, a game for any number of players. Now, this idea comes to us from Solitaire by David Parlay, and in the book he describes a simple method to play solitaires by mirroring one deck of cards with the other. So one player will present a card and the other player will fish that card out. Now, for the purposes of this video, we'll be playing the solitaire poker game with using a wild twist deck. This is an original idea, so you won't find a written set of rules for it anywhere, so just pay attention to this video. Now, the Wild Twist playing cards contain 60 cards total. There's 8 different jokers and a standard 52 deck of cards. Now, the jokers will have a specific value ability. The wilds, the 2 wild cards, will have a ability to represent 3 different values. The colored jokers will be able to represent 2 different values, and each individual single suit joker will represent only 1 value, so they can only represent 1 different card. And for the purposes of this game, to make the choices a little bit better, they can't represent a value that's within the horizontal row, the vertical column, or the diagonal if they're placed in that. And so in this game, like you've seen before, you score for the horizontal rows, the vertical columns, and the diagonal corners, all the way from northwest to southeast and southeast or northeast to southwest. So these are the scores for the various poker melds. If you're unfamiliar with poker melds, just look up any chart. It's pretty obvious. It's 5 cards, and these are the 5 types of. These are the different melds that 5 cards can make. There will also be a lotto in this game because we are going to have 2 5x5 grids that can be played at any time and a 10-card lotto where you figure out which cards are not going to be used in the game. So if you pause this video right now and go grab a piece of paper, you can play along with this video. These are the 8 different jokers, so remember them in addition to the standard deck. And what I want you to do is write down 10 cards that you think are not going to appear in this game. So go ahead and grab a piece of paper, do that, and then start the video again. So go ahead, go get a piece of paper, pause this video, and let's write them down. Okay, now you got your piece of paper. I'm writing down 10 different values of what I think is going to not be appearing in the game, while at the same time explaining this game to my opponent and letting them know how to play it. It was late at night, and they haven't played as much solitaire poker as I have, and so they're not exactly familiar with it. So we have our 2 squares that will contain 50 different values during the game, and we'll have 10 values that will not appear in the game. We're guessing at those values. And then once we're ready, we're going to reveal the first card and place it in any of those 50 boxes. So we have a queen of clubs, so the game really relies on people making different choices. I'm going to the northeast corner to place that club, and now I'm going to the next column space below it to place it, trying to build myself up a flush, while at the same time trying to also build the best possible horizontal row hand for that entry. Now I realize with playing 2 different boxes and being able to play the entire game and having both of them available instantaneously, that it's possible for you to get a royal straight flush pretty easily, considering that in the 60 card deck you have several different wild cards that are very specific in their use, so you probably will score pretty highly in this. The real secret, the real tiebreaker, and what makes this game great for large bodies of people, large groups of people, is that the lotto at the end of it is really a separator. You should get 1 point for each correct guess that you make. Somebody making a correct guess with all 10, that's an extraordinary feat. I'm not sure what the odds are. I didn't calculate them, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty substantial odds to get 10 cards out of a 60 card deck correct. So if somebody knows mathematics in the comments and can let me know, that'd be great. If you know what the odds are of getting all 10 card values correct in a deck of 60 cards, let me know. So we just keep going and we score the completed columns as they come, or you can wait till the end, doesn't matter. The biggest thing with this is the suit jokers in particular can only represent one value in both the horizontal, vertical, and diagonal scoring. And the colored jokers can represent 2 different values, and the main jokers can represent 3. Now, the main jokers is the only jokers that can achieve a 5 of a kind. The colored jokers cannot achieve 5 of a kind because they are prohibited from representing a value that is within their diagonal, vertical column, or horizontal row. So they cannot represent a value that would be equal to something in there. The only ones that can do that are the 2 main jokers. So if you do get both main jokers in your game, obviously you're going to want to put them in the middle. There's one of our main jokers right there. I'm putting it in the middle, followed by a colored joker. So that's one of the things to consider when playing this. It gives it a lot more interesting outcomes, because if every joker was just any card value, 5 of a kind would be a very easy meld to make, and so it wouldn't be a very challenging game. Adding that restriction in there, I feel, improves the odds a little bit, makes different choices. And you might also consider changing the rules of this to where you can't go to the second column until you or second box until you completed the first box. That might be a pretty good idea, because then your choices are really limited. I think you'd have a lot lower scores. Maybe one box will have a better benefit than the other. Maybe you'll get overloaded with one suit in the first box, and in the second box you'll have the same problem but with a different suit. All sorts of things can happen in your game. Definitely consider that as a possibility. So we're just going to keep going. We'll keep writing in our values until every box is filled, and once all boxes are filled, we will reveal the 10 cards that were not used, subtract or circle every correct guess, or note every correct guess, annotate every correct guess, and score a point for each correct guess. And that will be a good tiebreaker. It's great for large groups if you have a contest at work. And I know a lot of places, sometimes, especially in retail, the internet will go wild on some of the contests that were done at the employee Christmas party or something, where somebody gets a scratch off and it says, hey, you've won a free day of unpaid work, or, you've won a free day off. And it just, it gets made fun of, it gets mocked a lot, but it's a real morale builder to have some little contests like this every once in a while. So if you work at any capacity and they have a need or a desire to give something away, and you want a way to disseminate that and have somewhat of a competition and have some skill and have some fun with it, this type of game is free. You just need to make a grid, and you need this deck of cards. You can play with a standard deck. I feel it would not be the same, because then you'd only have 2 cards to guess in the lotto. So let's go ahead and reveal the lotto, and there is our results. We have 8 of hearts, wild diamond, jack of hearts, and so on. So I went ahead and scored everything, and just to show you the values of how we annotated our jokers and what we used them as to get to our specific scores, I'm going to go ahead and highlight those right now. And the main jokers, of course, can be used for 3 different values. So I had to correct a score there. I realized we only had a 2 pair there. Interesting game, real interesting way of doing things, real interesting way of playing a game. Then, of course, had to correct the score overall. So 222 to 196, a very close game. I had a few correct guesses. And so if you actually want to play this card game out in public with strangers, otherwise known as friends that you haven't met yet, come to our subreddit, Card Game Meetups. And once there, definitely make a post. Post your city, post what games you know and where you might want to do this. It's not like you're obligated to immediately do it. It's not like anybody's going to immediately jump up and say, hey, I'm in your city, let's play. You never know, they might. And overall, it might be a good experience. So check out our Discord channel. We have one for group games and one for solitaire games. It's a lot of fun. You should definitely go to it. And we might cover this dictation idea a little bit more in the future. So call up all your friends and let them know about this cool way of playing solitaire in terms of groups. And maybe, you never know, they might want to actually play some games. So do like, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends. And I want to thank today's musician, Felix Meyer, for their excellent cover of the Swiss Ragtime. And sorry if I butchered that name, but yeah, Check out his channel, and I will see you next video.